Yo, what's up guys? How you guys doing? So I got another video for you guys, and today I'm going to be talking about basically how to buy and spend your points in Insurgency Sandstorm. So new game, not a lot of new players. I played the original Insurgency, and so I'm pretty familiar with this, and I've been playing this game a lot. I have about like 60 hours in it, so I'm pretty experienced. I'm silver 2 right now. The ranks, I know like a lot of people think the ranks go from 1 to 4, but it goes from 4 to 1. So someone that's silver 1, their rank is higher than someone who's silver 4. And then yeah, but it's been pretty hard to actually find a match. Like every other match I'm getting like kicked out, or there's not like enough players. Okay, anyways, let's talk about classes. Alright, so we're insurgents right now, so for co-op and versus, you're gonna have all these classes, you know, commander, observer, rifleman, etc. But for the competitive, you're only gonna have 3 classes. You're only gonna have the rifleman, the breacher, and the marksman. So I'll kind of tell you what all the classes do, but I'm gonna focus on the rifleman, the breacher, and the marksman, and like what guns I use in those classes, and like how I like to buy or use my points in those classes. So you basically tell the observer who what fire support to call and where to call it. So you like have binoculars and you show where to call. Close the door all the way. It's not closed. Alright, that was my brother. Okay, anyways, observer, you call them classes, right? Alright, so rifleman, you basically get a good selection of rifles. It's only in the advisor class, but in the rifleman class and competitive, they have that as a choice. Okay, and then marksman, you basically get snipers and long range guns and stuff like that. So let me talk about basically rifleman and what I like to buy. This is everything in competitive costs a little bit more. I think this costs like 5 or 6, so I'm not gonna go off those, but I'm just gonna do an empty slate. I'm gonna tell you guys what I like to. You always start out with your knife. That's something you can't get. And in Insurgents, you have a gas mask. It basically prevents you from coughing and smokes. And in co-op and versus, I think it helps you from the toxic gas, chemical gas like attacks. I think you don't get you don't die basically. And then armor, there's light and heavy armor. So in competitive, light armor is 2 and heavy is 4. I like to run light armor or no armor. One thing in the classes is weight, so 15 points, and the heavy armor adds about like 30 points. So I'm basically just running light armor. And then I would recommend it, I guess, if you're a newer player or something, but in like co-op, that mode where you're playing against bots, I don't run any armor, and I'd get a armored carrier. So because the bots there aren't gonna kill you, you know what I'm saying. So let's move on to armor, ammo carrier. So there's light carrier and heavy carrier. So light carrier adds about 10, and heavy adds about 15. So I don't run any extra ammo, just because if I'm running light armor and then I'm running a light carrier, that's a lot of weight to you. And also in a normal regular competitive match, so in co-op I run light ammo carrier because you run out of ammo easier. But in competitive, if you're firing 3 rounds of ammunition, that's probably too much. So just watch how much like your bullets you're spending and stuff. The light armor, they will give you an extra grenade, but I'm not too big on grenades in this game. I'll tell you in a little bit. So let's move on to like primary. I like to deal with a nice gun, the Falil, the AKM, you know, AK-47. Those are all really nice guns, and they're fairly cheap. But basically any gun's gonna be good if you know how to use it. I would say something like, this is a sniper. This does not belong in that class. But if I would recommend you go into local play and like try all the guns, you know, learn the guns. I did that early, and I know what guns I like. You know, I like the Falil, AKM. I like the SVD, the SKS. You know, I all like those guns. Those guns are all pretty good. They're all basically cheap. I will talk about more expensive guns later. So let's go to like what I regular buy, like what's my go-to. So optics, I generally don't get optics unless I'm sniping. So I do see a lot of people running optics. I mean, optics are good. Here, let me just let me kick all the bots. Alright, so I do see a lot of people running optics. I generally don't like optics. I mean, they're kind of bulky and your ADS aimed on sights. Generally, I like to run no optics, competitive, and they're actually like more expensive, and it's not like my thing, right? So under barrel, there's generally gonna be foregrip or bipod. The AKs, they have either a smoke launcher or in competitive they don't have smoke launcher, but they normally have bipod or a foregrip. I'm generally running foregrip most of the time. I like foregrip, you know, it gives you extra, it takes away vertical recoil, so I like that. It's good. For the barrel, we have flash hider, compensator, and suppressor. So flash hider hides the flash of the barrel basically. I don't really use it. I mean, I'll get it sometimes, like on the M4 I think I always run it, but I'm generally not going to use that. Compensator, it's basically like the foregrip but for horizontal recoil, so it subtracts that a couple points. I'm generally not taking the compensator because I have a foregrip and the vertical recoil on guns aren't really as bad, and I can't really tell the difference if I'm not using compensator. But I am normally running a suppressor. I really do like suppressors in this sound, and in this game it reduces sound. Other than that, it doesn't really do too much, but I really do like it. If I have extra points in competitive, I'll get the extended mags. In co-op and stuff like that, I'll run drum mags because I don't always want to be reloading, but in the competitive scene, you know, I'm running extended mags. I never use laser sights. I feel like they're generally a waste. One thing about lasers that I don't think a lot of people know, that other players can actually see your lasers. So enemy players can see your lasers. It's not too big of a deal in co-op, you know, when you're playing against bots, but in like versus and competitive, they can see your lasers. So I always take that in mind, and I don't really like to use it. I don't really use it. I feel like it's a waste to me. I mean, some people do like it because there is no crosshairs in this game, but I feel like I've gotten used to just, you know, aiming down the middle of my sight, you know. And generally you're gonna aim down sights. I mean, you're gonna spray without, and generally it's pretty accurate, so wherever the enemy is and you shoot, he's gonna be. Go to the last one, tracer rounds. So illuminates 1 in 5 rounds, indicating to teammates and enemies where rounds are being fired. So I like to use these. I like to use it. It's free. I just clip it on, you know. I don't notice it too much, but I'll put it on. So let's talk about secondaries. So secondaries, there's generally like there's a couple pistols. There's a free pistol in competitive for insurgents. This is just insurgents, by the way, but this stuff generally applies for both security and insurgents. So there's usually free pistol, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. So for rifles, I go for kind of cheap out on pistols, but I will get quick draw holster. I do recommend that, and then if I have an extra one, I'll get an extended mag or a compensator or something like that. But for snipers, I like to go really expensive on my pistols because, close range on a sniper, like sniper's not going to do too much, so you want to get that extra stuff. Alright, so let's talk about explosives. So in competitive, there's only smoke, a frag, and a Molotov. I'm not really using grenades. I always generally have like an extra point, so I'll always like throw in a smoke. I always like throw in one of those. Generally, like in co-op, when you have to destroy objectives, throw a Molotov on there, throw a grenade on there, but that's not really what I'm using, and I don't see too many people using it in competitive, but I'm sure there is a good amount of people that use grenades. It's not my thing. I'm not really big on it. So you know, we'll get a smoke. All right, so that's for so that's basically rifleman.